He's been a diehard fan ever since I started this, which is 3 years ago. So like it was definitely made me feel good on the inside to meet a fan of mine that has been watching me and been looking at our crazy adventures over the past 3 years and finally being able to meet him.
Oh yeah. What up?
What up?
All right, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Lupe, and I am here with
Dirty Danii.
Dirty Mother Danny. That's who it is.
Dirty Mother Danii.
I'm glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Is this one of your first podcasts, or have you done like video podcasts before?
Yeah, this is my first podcast.
Okay. So I got the exclusive.
Yeah,
The first podcast. So
you're breaking the seam right there.
I mean, I love cracking the moves. I love being the first to do anything. So let me start by saying thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you showing up and being here.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, it's not every day that I get the Dirty Danii, the face of TikTok, in here.
Yeah, the face of TikTok.
I mean, I swear you've been everywhere on TikTok. People see you all the time. I think you're one of the most recognizable TikTokers, I think, in our particular space.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we do we do get recognized quite a bit around here.
Quite a bit is an understatement. I'm going to say that. You get recognized a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
So tell me something, like, this fame, this glory, do you feel like it's changed you at all? I mean, I know it's changed parts of you, but has it changed, like, you in the essence? Have you kind of like been like, damn, people know who I am. I'm kind of famous.
Yeah, I always try to keep the demeanor of like, yeah, people know who I am, but I'm still the same person that I was before.
I got you.
You know?
Hell yeah. So how do you keep yourself grounded in who you were before?
Well, you can take all these glimmers of life and stuff like that, but when you go home, I'm a mom,
Yeah.
I'm a wife and I'm a sister and I'm a daughter. So I take those little aspects and kind of just, bring them back and bring them home to me. So it always finds a way back.
I got you. So you stay grounded in like your family, your child, your children, whatever, and your cats, your dogs. I like it. So are you very family orientated when you're not on camera? Like it's all about home?
Yeah. It's basically all about home whenever I get home.
Nothing else matters.
No. Well, work obviously matters. Work always matters. But yeah, I'm basically at home when I'm at home.
Gotcha. So, question: what was the main difference, would you say, from your life before content and now? Like, what did you do before for work? What did you do? Like, what was your life like? Were you always wild and nasty and out there, or was it just like you met your husband and then the floodgates opened?
So I would say that I was a stay-at-home mom before like we started doing any of this. So I was very like content and very grounded and like very like I had a big wall up the whole time, and like it took him. I mean, the most that I didn't really do much of anything before I met him, actually. Like nothing.
So in the whole stay-at-home mom life, and talk about let's circle back to that stay-at-home mom life. When you say you were contented, was that what you always wanted to be? You were like, yo, I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom, and find a guy who can take care of me, and I'm gonna rock it out. Because I've met women that are like that. I worked with a girl at a restaurant, and she was single, and she said explicitly, like, within the next 2 years, I'm gonna meet a guy who's gonna have a good career, and I'm going to marry him, and I'm going to have kids, and I'm going to stay at home and take care of our kids. And that's the life that I wanted. So she set out, and within the 4 years that I worked at that restaurant, within 2 years, she met the guy. And within 2 years of that, she married him and quit the job. So in 4 years of me knowing her, she went from being a 21-year-old that said, I want to make somebody have kids and get married. And within 4 years, she had that.
Well, no, actually, I had big aspirations and big dreams from the beginning.
Okay.
Like, I have always thought to my inner self that maybe I could be something bigger than what I am right now. I've always had those aspirations. What happened in that time frame of me being a stay-at-home mom, that's just what I was doing at the time.
Okay, so when you became a stay at home mom, OnlyFans came with it, or
Um,
was OnlyFans and then stay at home mom, or was it like I'm a stay at home mom, I'm kind of bored.
yeah,
Your
that's what
husband
it
was kind of
was.
like, hey, I like this kinky shit, and you were like, well, I could try this kinky shit,
Yeah.
and then it took off.
Yep. It took off from there. So like, I didn't do anything during the day. Sorry, I didn't do anything during the day. So I really needed something to do, and I was looking to get a new job, but I never ever would have imagined that it would have been OnlyFans for
Gotcha.
one. Um, but well, before we started, we came down here and we met a different couple, and they told us about OnlyFans initially, and then whenever they brought it up and said that, hey, this is our like side gig right now, because they both have full-time jobs and they're making a good decent amount of money on it. Like, why don't we? We just moved down to Orlando, and we didn't really have any friends and didn't really know anybody. Plus, we wanted to make new connections and new relationships with other couples. So
Gotcha.
we were just like, why not another $500 a freaking week,
Exactly. We'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, and then just see where it goes. So we started, and then it totally took off from there.
That is an understatement. That's an understatement. So now that you're here and you've gotten here, I guess the real question is like, well, let me not. Let's just go back. Now that you're here, let's dive right back to your past. So you said you didn't do much beforehand. Before your husband. So let's talk about when you were single before you met your husband. Were you just like a simpleton girl that just went home and went to church?
No.
Or were you out in these streets
No,
running it up?
I was totally running it up in the streets, but I was learning, and I was just young, I was running the streets. I did not go to church, which, never would deem anybody that does go to church. I like church too, but
Yeah, I just wanted to know if it was
just
like
never was my thing.
I got you. I was your thing. So how different is your lifestyle now from then? Like you ain't running these streets no more, but you are always out. You're always at an event. You're always doing things. Do you think like that little bit of street life kind of prepared you a little bit for this?
I definitely think that the talking to people that I don't know aspect of it definitely put a good push with me, and like the outgoingness and like just being in the flow of being around a bunch of people and like just mingling and tingling and talking and all this stuff. Yeah, I definitely think that aspect of it plays a big part of my career now.
Got you. Yeah, because you're definitely a socialite in a sense of, you get a lot of people that want to see you, events where people are happy to meet you. Exotica,
Yeah.
We were at Exotica, there was just a line of guys. I felt like every couple minutes there was a guy coming up, oh my God, you're Dirty Danii. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, Exotica was amazing. I loved Exotica. I loved meeting all my fans, and that was definitely an eye-opener on itself.
That's fire. So let me ask you this question. Speaking of Exotica, was there one fan that stuck out? Like we had one fan that we met one time and he just stuck out. Like he was just like, I just can't believe it's you. And just like,
yeah, I did actually have one fan that came up, and he's been a diehard fan ever since I started this, which is 3 years ago. So like it was definitely made me feel good on the inside to meet a fan of mine that has been watching me and been looking at our crazy adventures over the past 3 years, and finally being able to meet him.
hell yeah.
On OnlyFans, we get the aspect of talking, being able to engage with our fans as well with the messages. So, yeah, with him, I've been talking. It's weird talking to someone for so long and then finally meeting them in person. It definitely takes a very different view.
I know a lot of content creators refuse to meet their fans. Like they just refuse. Like I don't meet my fans. I don't do that. I just don't. And I always wonder like how it feels to be a fan and know that you're never gonna meet this person. Like not that you like as a basketball or football fan of a player of football, a sports fan. or athletic, somebody who's like a fan of an athlete or a movie star, you know that if you go to the game early and you spend enough money, that there's a chance that you may get an autographed jersey from this person, or they may sign a piece of memorabilia while you're standing in the stands. You know this, right? So I think that I find it like weird that people don't ever want to meet their fans. They don't ever do the Exoticas. They don't ever do any of those conventions, the avians, any of that. And they just kind of like don't relate with them at all or connect with them like that.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just a form of fear. You know,
I didn't
like
think about that.
maybe they're just afraid to because like on the screen or online is completely different than somebody in person. So I was actually telling my fans at Exotica, like they're like, wow, like you're so much more like you have so much more charisma off a camera than you do on camera, you know? And I'm like, well, yeah, of course, because I want to have your intimate moment. Like you, as a fan, I would love that intimate moment with somebody that I idolize, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm like, I'm not really that much different on camera than I am off a camera because I always like to be myself. So maybe it's just a form of fear going on. Maybe they're afraid to put on that big of a persona in front of their fans because maybe they're afraid to disappoint them, or maybe that's
I didn't
it.
even think about that. I didn't even think about that. That's wild. And that just gave me a new way of observing that situation. Because I was always like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to meet your fans? Like, we try to meet our fans, like, not to film content necessarily, but to just meet them. You know, like if we're going somewhere and we're in a new city and somebody say, hey, can I buy you guys a drink at this bar? Yeah, come buy us a drink. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see any of our fans having any ill will towards us. You're a fan. You're following us for a reason. You like what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't see why you would want to do anything harmful to us.
Of
We're
course.
trying to provide something.
You never really know, though, either. That's
true.
another thing. You never really know.
That's true. But at the same time, I also feel like we don't live in one of those countries where doing sex work is outlawed. You know what I mean? It may be looked down upon. The lifestyle may not be something that you agree upon, but we're mostly married couples doing this. You know what I mean? We're not out here destroying relationships or doing anything of that nature. We're married couples enjoying ourselves with some single people, you know? And as a single guy, I feel like it would be quite ignorant for you to be upset with the couple for doing whatever they're doing.
Oh, yeah,
You know
for sure.
Like to show up with some type of malice towards that person. Like that. I don't know. I don't see why people would. We haven't run into that, but I know it does happen.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta
yeah,
be safe.
that happens a lot, is what I've been told. It's just like, I just don't, I think everybody has a different aspect to it.
Yeah.
So, from an outsider's view, seeing like if I was talking to a single dude and he was like, I'm so mad at them for like, how could he even let her do this? You know? Well, it's not even the matter of that. It's not, because in their minds, they don't really know how to separate those two, whether it's business and whether it's personal, because that's definitely where the lines cross as business and personal. Because I've met other major porn stars that their man he doesn't care whether she does her shoot, and he goes to all of her shoots, and he's a very big supporter of her. But then again, they don't swing.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
And then there's other ones that do swing, or there's other guys that like to just watch their women do that. Or, you know, there's definitely different dynamics to every couple. So,
I mean, that makes perfect sense. There are you're right. There are more professional style couples that only shoot, and then there are couples out there that actually swap. So I completely get that. And that is a big difference, I think, in the industry that we run into. And I think, speaking of that, you do a fantastic job of beautifully blurring the lines on both sides, because you're able to do professional content if you so choose, you know, and you also do a great job of monetizing your swinger life as well.
oh yeah, me and my husband we definitely try to separate that as much as possible, especially with our kids. And so we, I mean, you have your time together, and then just to be able to mentally do that is a great balance.
Yeah.
That is just a work of art, I think.
I definitely think it is. So I'm going to ask you like this. I ask everybody who has kids if they're okay with it. Like, your kids know about your job?
Well, the youngest doesn't, but the oldest does. He understands that he gets the nice things and he gets to go to the nice activities after school, and he understands that he gets nice things, and he understands that we have to, as parents, have to provide that. And he's perfectly fine with it. He doesn't ask any more questions, and they're not anywhere around it. And then as long as, out of sight, out of mind,
exactly,
they don't ask about it. So, as long as they get their toys.
I feel that. So it's funny you say that. So we have a daughter. She's much, much older. She's a teenager. She's about to go to college and do all these things. And it's funny because we, both, like, she found out when she was younger, much younger, around 14. And during that time, we explained to her what it was. And like, I remember a couple of days ago, I really even remember how the conversation came up, but she was like, "Oh, I said, do your friends have an idea of what we do? Because we have a pretty big Instagram following of it." And she's like, "Yeah, my friends know." And I was like, "All of them?" She's like, "All of them." She's like, "I made sure to let all my friends know when I found out what you guys did, and that if they really were that curious, that they could go subscribe." And she's like, if you really that curious, go subscribe and pay my bills. That's what my daughter told her friends. She said, if you want to keep my electric on, go put my electric on.
Yeah,
she's like, you're not gonna see anything with me on there.
Yeah, right.
And she's
that's
like,
right.
I was incredibly surprised, and at the same time, I was so proud because it let me know, And I think a lot of people are like, oh, I see it on the internet all the time. People are like, oh my God, what if your kids find out? What are you going to tell your kids? What if they're bullied? If your kids are going to get bullied, they're going to get bullied regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
That might give them flame, but there's one thing about kids. If kids know what you do, they're prepared for it, and they come with fire for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
they're
I mean?
very resilient.
They're very resilient, but you have to be a great parent to create a child that's resilient. You know what I mean? That has those type of resiliencies, because at the end of the day, there are kids that would be bullied to the point where they want to kill themselves. But if you look at their parenting and how they were parented, they weren't given the tools to value themselves and their own opinions in a way that would allow them to not let that bother them to the point where they need to go that far.
Oh, yeah,
you know
for sure.
Like, it's just crazy because being a parent in this it's kind of tough sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you have to go to like school events and, other parents are very, very finicky about it. Like, some parents are like, I don't give a fuck. Other parents are like, you can't hang out with them, or you can't go to their house, or they can't come here. It like they have their own stigma caught up into what the life is, and it's so different.
Yeah, that's funny because like our neighbor, actually, our next door neighbor, whenever we first moved into our house about 3 years ago, our neighbors actually posted it on Facebook. So our neighbor next door, she was like, no, she's telling her little kid, like, he can't come over anymore, and like her husband can't come over anymore. But as time went on and as we started talking, and now we're good friends, and like our kids play all the time. So I think it's definitely a matter of not judging a book by its cover, but what is in the book, what the story is about.
Hell yeah.
And that's always the most important thing whenever it comes to me and like my kids and like other parents as well, and like the school system and stuff. And you know what? If they don't want to contribute, then I don't know why they're asking me.
Yeah.
If
you ain't got nothing to say nice, don't say nothing at all. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's a funny place to be in when you're a parent. And once people kind of, get to know you and know that, like, your profession doesn't define you. You know what I mean? There are people who go to work every day and drop bombs on people. If you were to say, what do you do for a living? And they said, I kill people for a living. You'd be like, I'm not going to talk to that person.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
But if they say, hey, I work for such and such company and we drop bombs for this, or I work for the government and we do this and we drop bombs on this.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like you have to be within the bubble to know. And like the friends that we have, the close family friends, the people who are really close to us, who know what we do for a living, those people know the real us. They know what we're about. The rest of the people who can sit and pass judgment on us, they don't know us. So they base their judgment off of what they think they know.
Yeah, what they've heard and
and they off the horror stories that come with it, like, because and we can attest to this on both sides. People break up, and the lifestyle people break up, and real life people break up. It's just, I feel like once people are in the lifestyle, the breakup is so much more intense.
It is because that bond that you have within your partner within the lifestyle is intense.
You're right, very much so. I think I can honestly say the lifestyle has brought us closer together because it's made us, as me and Misha, has made us expose our insecurities to each other. So anything,
that's exactly what it is.
It is. It makes you strip down to the raw, naked form of who you and your partner are, because you technically are in a space that would destroy most people. And if you can survive that type of humility and that type of respect for each other and still communicate and go through things after that, there's really nothing more that can damage you guys. You know what I mean? With the exception of, intentionally lying, betrayal, things of that nature. But at that point, when you've been that open, why are you lying?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, for sure. I was watching a comedy sketch the other day, and it was a woman, and she was talking about like breaking up and like, oh, she has to go through all this heartbreak and like how guys are this and the third, and like about cheating, and he cheated on her, and like I'm sitting back and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, it's almost like we almost broke the code.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like as a swinger couple, you have so much that you're gonna release to your partner, even in a normal world, even a normal couple, there's so much that they're only going to tell or be that vulnerable to their partner. Yeah. And with swinging, it comes to the point where either you guys have to break the wall down or like figure something else out. Like there's no way around that. You have to be that vulnerable to be able to build it back up.
Yeah, you're exactly right in every single aspect. And I think that is a major difference between swinging and porn, right? Like you said, that couple, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't go with her, then he shoots. He stays home. The difference between swinging and porn is swinging, you do have to be vulnerable because both parties are involved. With porn, you just show up, do your job, and fucking leave.
Yeah, swinging is way more deeper than just... And this is kind of touches on the different stereotypical aspects that you were pointing out earlier. Because I watched... That also refers to a Austin Powers movie that I watched the other day, and man, it's just so, it's so much different. And like what me and my husband really stand for is it's not only about sex, it also has to do with relationships, managing friendships with relationships, managing your relationship with another friendship. I'm sorry. I talk with my hands so much.
You get friendships with relationships.
Yeah. So no, it just takes a lot of will.
It does. And it takes a lot of patience and communication. Because I think that one thing that gets drugged when it comes to like sex workers and it comes to like people who have a very monogamous thought process. I think that they believe that because you share these intense relationships with people, that somehow taints your relationship in a way because you can't share what's personal. You know what I mean? Like how can you share this person that's supposed to be everything with you with somebody else and then still consider that person your everything?
Yeah, exactly. And it can definitely come in between just a bro and bro friendship. So, like, even managing those friendships, like if he has a real, genuine friendship with a guy and he goes to the guy and complains about me all the time, and is the guy going to be, like, attracted to me anymore? Yes, of course, because y'all are just friends. But it's not to the point where I'm going to see my husband in a different light.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not going to see him in a different light. It's just managing basic relationships that that are on an honest and genuine level to where you can build with that. You can build big relationships and long-term relationships, and you can be in a house with another couple.
Yeah.
You know, you can share it as one, and like it's just a matter of keeping up with communication and honesty, loyalty.
I can't agree more. I think that communication, honesty, and loyalty are the big three when it comes to anything that goes on with a swinging relationship. And let's talk about that. So we actually, I think we classify ourselves as swingers, but we live more of a hot wife life. And what I mean by that is some swingers are only playing if the husband can play. Like that's the only way they play.
Yeah.
And we've met them. Like if you're not interested in the husband, they're not playing. Mm-hmm. Right? So with us though, in our particular type of relationships, like I'm okay if Meech is playing and I'm not. Mm-hmm. Like I have the confidence to sit back and be like, go ahead, babe, enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? Like mm-hmm. I don't have to play every single time. And I know your husband, because I know him personally, he doesn't have to play every time. If there's not a woman there that fits his fancy, he's like, all right, I'm good. Like, you know, if you like him, do you think, babe? You know what I mean? I think that there's something to be said about that too, because that's a very specific type of relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like where the woman is always put first.
Yeah, that's always that the woman can be always put first, but at the end of the day, that your partner, your husband, he is the one that, you know, you can go out and you can satisfy all these guys, but at the end of the day, you know that you owe him something because he's your husband too, you know? Yeah. You don't want to like go and I understand that it could be a job, and yes, it could be tiring as well, but you also got to like feed the person who's also backing you up.
Yeah, and that's not only sexually, right? That's like in other ways as well.
That's mentally, emotionally, physically, like, yeah, that's all the way.
I think that we're lucky in a sense that we found somebody that we can stimulate in those ways and also share sexually, because that's not something that I think a lot of people are capable of doing because they haven't evolved enough emotional maturity to do it, because you have to, one, evolve an unwavering commitment to that person. And then once you've developed that unwavering commitment to that person, now you can go out and explore and do things with everybody else. Once you build the team, now y'all can go play against other people and have some fun.
Yeah, and then so that also rotates right back around to you not having that deep of a connection and being that vulnerable and being able to communicate through that vulnerability to manage your own relationship as well as your friends' relationships.
Oh yeah, see, this is why you're successful. This is why you're successful. People can see that you're genuine in your relationship and your lifestyle and how you carry yourself and how you present yourself, that it's just genuine, that you're just genuinely having a good time.
Well, we want to break that stereotype of like, swingers are just, you know, hungry animals that just want to have sex with anybody that they see. And it's not just about that, you know, there's a whole different playing field, and there's different levels to it, and there's different dynamics and different people. Everybody's different.
Yep. Okay. All right. So what's next for you?
Just going on to bigger and better things, you know, getting my name out there, starting new ideas and new projects as far as like, getting more items, maybe like merchandising and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we're definitely doing big things in the future. So stay tuned.
Gotcha. So I almost forgot the number one question that every guy wants to know. Okay. Since you've been into this industry, what's the wildest shit that's happened so far? Some shit that you was just like, I cannot believe this happened. I can't believe that this is like, what was just like, when you were done, you were just like, either you were spent or you were just like, damn, like, what the actual fuck?
I don't know. There's like tons of stories. I mean, so there was this one time where like me and my husband went to Tootsie's, right? Yeah. In Miami. So, well, we went there and I told Justin to pick out the baddest bitch there. And I was like, just pick her out. Just pick one girl. And so he's like, I know that girl over there is like the finest girl here, but, you know, he wasn't even thinking about playing with her. He's like, yeah, she is probably too much. So like I think that was like my prey at that point.
She was like, "Oh, my nigga wants her.
I was like, okay,
I'm gonna go get her.
I got you." So like we get there and like we go with another couple. So strippers aren't really coming up to couples because there are girls there. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna back off of that," which is understandable. But you know, I was there for the strippers too, so I wanted to get some too. And so we get there and there's like 2 girls there. They're dancing on them and stuff like that. So I was like, I smoked cigarettes at the time. So I was like, all right, babe, I'm going to go get a pack of cigarettes and I'll be right back. So he's sitting there and I go get the pack of cigarettes while I actually go up to her. And I'm like, hey, girl, so my husband is really fine and really into you. And I was wondering if you would just do a little favor for him, you know. So I told her how much and I paid her. And this is what she went up to him. And I actually, like, brought her back and I was holding her hand and I was like, hey babe, look what I found. And you know, we had a good night the rest of that night. So that was one of my first like actual gifts that I could give back to my husband. So I felt so accomplished of that. And I was like, yeah, I pulled that. I got that for him. Hey, I'm able to do this. And like there you go. Like, I just sat back in the corner and watched, and it was I played with myself, and that was it. It was fantastic. I loved it.
I love it. See, that right there is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, that's the stuff that people don't see, the behind the scenes where you're just like, I got to do this for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, he deserved it. You know, we worked hard for about like a good solid year and a half. And it was just the middle of summer. We were in Miami. I mean, like, come on now.
Yo, if there's going to be a time to wild out, this is the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not mad at that, bro. Like, that's living. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that. It
was just like, what other opportunity do we have right now to do this?
Yeah.
There's a lot of those. Yeah. There's a lot of those experiences where you're just like, wow. Like, what this is insane. Right. You know, it's just something that you don't see other than in a movie.
Facts. That's facts.
And then in those moments, you learn to appreciate it just more and more and more. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you missed. We're keeping that in, too. She missed the lighter, bro.
That was awful.
No hands. I might have tossed that a little high, but...
I mean, no. It's good. I should have caught that. It was like right here. It's good.
Oh, man. Well, I'm so excited that you came on my show.
Yeah, me too. I finally made it over here. I told you I was going to come.
You told me you were going to come like 6 times. I know. I fucking love you. I don't blame you. I
love you too, but I did come. I was going to come.
Listen, I know yesterday you were fucked up, so I'm like, yo, you were throwing up and sick and shit, so now you came here. So I'm like, one, I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie. He was like, I'm sick. I'm like,
Don't worry, it's not contagious. It was just like it was a hangover sick.
That's what they said about the COVID shit at the beginning too.
Well, I mean, it's definitely not COVID, but I got tested.
Like, I'm good. I know it's not. I'm just fucking with you. No, I'm glad to have you here, and I appreciate you taking out the time to come here. I mean,
yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me here. I had a really fun time.
I know. I'm looking forward to getting your husband on the show and seeing what he has to say.
Oh, yeah.
I know his ass ain't got no motherfucking filter. I already know it's about to go down.
I know. So he could tell you all the back stories. He could tell you the R-rated version of what I told you.
I can't wait.
All right, yeah.
All right. Where can they find you at?
They can find me at Dirty Danii _69, and that is on OF, and also that is my Twitter handle as well. You can find me on Fansly, OnlyFans, Loyal Fans, many events, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Pornhub.
Is it all under Dirty Danii?
It's all under Dirty Danii.
All right, so Dirty Danii.
With 2 eyes. Don't forget the 2 eyes.
2 eyes. There might be an underscore somewhere in the front or in the back, but basically.
There's an underscore in the back. Always in the back.
In the back. All right. Dirty Danii, DANII underscore. All right.
69.
69. Don't forget the 69. All right.
The best number in the world.
Is it?
Well, other than 7. I feel like.
I feel that. I feel that on every level. All right. Well, thank you for being on the show, and I look forward to having you on in a couple months and see what the fuck has changed.
I know. We'll catch up.
All right.
And we'll have a good time.
All right, y'all. I'm Lupe.
And I'm Danii.
Peace.
Bye.